everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Gerard Powers. We will not have Rodney McLeod on today as he is at an NFLPA meeting in Hawaii, a conference. But we have a special guest coming in to fill his shoes, and we appreciate you tons. My favorite offensive player from this past season, Parris Campbell, wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. Thanks so much for joining us today, Parris.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the honor to be on with you guys.
Absolutely. Gerard, I'm going to let you kick things off with this first episode. The first question or comment or whatever you want to talk about.
I'll jump right into it. Parris, man, coming into this offseason, first of all, I know just how did you like your experience being in Indy the past 4 years? I was there for 4 years. I enjoyed it. But what's some of the things that you liked about just being in that building?
Yeah, man, I love it. First off, I think the first thing that jumps off the page for me is the family atmosphere. I feel like a lot of teams across the league talk about that, but not a lot actually show it. And, granted, this has been the only place that I've been in my career, but you can really feel that family, man. Like, it's a tight-knit group from, the bottom of the staff to the top of the staff. And you can really just feel that. And then just the city itself, the fans, loyal fans, man, dedicated fans, diehard fans. The city, it feels to me, you guys know I played at Ohio State. It feels similar to Columbus. Great city, great schools for the kids, family atmosphere once again. Me and my family, we love the 4 years that we've been here.
Yeah, I felt the same way for pretty much all the things that you just described. Good family city, plenty to do. Loyal fans. And speaking of the fans, a lot of pressure on you this offseason about, can he stay healthy? We need him to do this. We need him to do that. How's the wide receiver room going to look? Who's going to be the standout? There's just so many questions regarding yourself and the wide receiver room. But how important was it for you knowing that, you're coming into your last year, your deal, it's important to stay healthy, but not just stay healthy, just your playmaking ability on the field being available. How important was that for you going into this offseason to make sure that happened?
Yeah, that was everything for me. I made a promise to myself before this season, man, that I was going to do everything that I could to make sure I was on the field for all 17. Before the stats, before the plays, I thought I would be I just wanted to be healthy and available for my team, man. And, it was tough those first 3 years, dealing with the injuries that I dealt with. But I also learned something about myself that I didn't know before. I learned that I'm a fighter, that I had strength that I never even knew that I could tap into. And it just all, built up for me in this final season, man. And I think I played with passion. I think people could see that just in the plays. I just really wanted to leave it all out there on the field. So every time I took the field, man, I took it personal.
Awesome. Well, I want to just remind everybody before we go on that BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season, whether it's NFL, NBA, MLB, hockey, soccer, whatever, boxing, MMA. You can always find the latest team odds, matchup info, and player news and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, after this past offseason, like you said, it was a big deal to you to make sure you were, available and be able to be on the field all season. You were the only receiver on the team this past season to be available all 17 games. And do you feel let me get into the question of after that season that you just had, where you were available finally, do you feel like you still have more to prove, not just to yourself, but to teams and stuff out there in the NFL with Colts Nation, the fans, everything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I started with myself. I think last year was just scratching the surface. It allowed me to believe in myself and see that I can play in this league and that I can make plays in this league. on a consistent basis. And as far as, to the Colts and to other teams and, to Colts Nation, like I said, I think it's just scratching the surface, man. Obviously, you guys know the slew of quarterbacks that we had this season and the ups and the downs and just so much, change going on in the offense. It was hard to get into a rhythm, but we still found ways to make plays here and there. And I think you saw glimpses of what the offense could be or, what I can be in this offense or in the league in general. But definitely, it's a lot more that I want to accomplish, that I want to prove, and I just want to continue to keep going on a consistent basis.
Awesome.
Man, you talk about some of the adversities that the team and you guys face, the ups and downs. How important was to have somebody like Reggie Wayne, sitting right there in the room with you that can relate to you, that is sat in that same chair and, in the household name that he is. But, what was some of the influence and some of the, I guess, words that, he used to kind of keep you guys focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, man. Reg was everything. And I tell people this all the time. He's changed my outlook on the game so much in one season. You know what I mean? How I look at the game, how I study the game, how I approach the game, just every detail you can think of. He's changed and had an impact. And just speaking on this season specifically, Reg he's been in this same position. He was on the team where they went, 1-15. He sat in the same chairs, going through the same things, and he brought up that season a lot this year, just because, like I said, we were going through the same thing. So he's telling us to stay positive, continue to do what we're doing, continue to think about consistency. And, obviously with so much change, there has to be some type of constant, you know what I mean? So we always wanted to approach each and every day. And we talked about in the receiver group that we want to be the constant, no matter what's going wrong, no matter what's going left. Let's try to be the constant each and every day. And, I think that was something that we tried to do as a group. And I can say, I personally think we accomplished, just throughout the building each and every day, and then trying to take it to the game field. I think we did a good job in that.
Absolutely. Now, inquiring minds want to know, a lot of Colts fans out there want to know, are you interested in coming back to the Indianapolis Colts? Do the Colts have mutual interest in bringing you back? What's going on that front right now before we hit free agency?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I love it here. I really do. And, obviously with the coaching changes and then kind of a new legacy being built here, I definitely want to be a part of it, man. I really do. Like I said, I love the city. My family is, we've been here for 4 years, man. This is kind of all we know when it comes to NFL life. But far more greater than that, like I said, I really feel a part of that Colts family in the building and outside the building with Colts fans, man. The amount of love that Colts Nation has showed me just throughout my career, even through the ups and downs, man, it's meant a lot to me. So, yeah, I would love to be back. And, there's been meetings the past couple of weeks with the Colts, and, Chris, he wants to bring me back. I feel the mutual, respect and love, so we'll see what happens. I'm excited though.
And not to go off topic a little bit, but want to go back to Columbus. I don't know if it's quiet anymore, but I can kind of say you guys got like a wide receiver title that y'all kind of walk around with right now. Yeah. And you're part of that, bringing that to the forefront. Talk about the wide receiver room and the development that Brian Hartline and those guys at OSU do to produce so many just great, wide receiver talents year in, year out.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I always tell people is that, once Brian Hartline stepped in, it really changed the game for every receiver that's ever going to walk through that building, man. And I say that because, sitting in those seats, being a 18, 19-year-old guy, you got a NFL veteran who had a great career, played at the highest level, made plays, and stuck around in this league for a long time. Like, as a player, who's just coming into college, you need a guy like that. You want to soak up as much information as you can. And for him to be able to relate to you, him to be able to see things that you're seeing, you guys talk the same language. I think it's just a smooth and easy transition. And obviously, you guys know how recruiting goes. Once, these 16 to 17-year-old guys see all these guys going to the NFL and making plays and, getting paid and all this stuff, that's eye-opening. But the heart of it all starts with Brian Hartline, man. Like how I talk about Reggie changing the game for me, Brian also changed the game for me. And it started with him and my development, like from, my junior to my senior year, it was crazy. It was really crazy because he brought that NFL mindset of just, so many different levels of receiver play. And he's a critical reason why I'm in the shoes that I'm in right now.
Back when you were drafted to be the guy for, a certain quarterback named Andrew Luck. And ever since then, it just hasn't been there. You went through umpteen thousand different quarterbacks. Could you speak a little bit about the difficulties of having a different quarterback so often as a wide receiver in the NFL?
Yeah, man, it's tough. When I got drafted, that night it was magical because, I'm about to go play with Andrew Luck, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game right now. So you can imagine how, finding out that he was retiring, how that felt for me as a young rookie. But the carousel it's been crazy because, it starts off, we had Jacoby and everybody felt, comfortable with Kobe. Nobody really knew if he could, take over the franchise, but everybody in the building was comfortable and was excited for what Jacoby was about to bring. So you got excited about that. But then the next year, you bring in Phillip Rivers, and it's like the same thing over and over again. You get excited about what Phil's about to bring. So it's this high, and then you go through the course of the season, and whatever happens, happens. But it's just the highs and the lows. And then after Phil, we bring in Matt, and it's the same thing. Super high, like let's go. We got Matt Ryan. We're about to do this thing. Like let's get excited. So it was crazy. And same thing with Carson. Excuse me for misplacing, but Carson and then Matt, like it's the same thing. It's like you get excited, and then it hits, and then whatever happens, happens. And it's so hard to build that consistency that I was talking about with when you have so many, quarterbacks at the helm of the offense. And even this year, like having 3 quarterbacks in the course of a season, like it was tough because I got used to Matt. Then we changed and went to Sam. So you got to build a rapport with Sam. Got to get extra reps at practice with Sam. Sam plays 2 games, then we go back to Matt. And it's like, all right, let's go back to the old way that we were doing things. And then, Matt plays for a couple games, and then it's Nick, and it's back. It was just a lot going on, man. So it's tough as a wideout, to have to go through that.
Gotcha. And so a little fun question that I had. This is my last question that I had for you. But recently, I forget the publisher, but they rank like, you got the players that rank facilities, rank the training staff, all these different rankings, which is kind of cool to see because it was accurate from my point of view on the teams that I was with. But I want to say that the Colts players gave the training staff in Indy like an A minus, A plus. I'm good friends with Aaron Burrell and Hambone and all them guys, man. Speak on them and just the wonderful job they do to make sure guys from a mental standpoint stay positive, stay engaged, but also a physical standpoint, getting you back, the best that they can, getting you back on the field.
Yeah, man. They make the boat go. Aaron, EB, Hambone, Kyle, like all those guys, man. They're really is what keeps the wheels turning because. I mean, you know how it is. Like guys got to find some type of comfortability, within the facility. And in Indy, I think it is the training room, man. Yep. I really think that they make it a friendly atmosphere. You can go, hey, make sure you're getting your work done, but it's not uptight, it's family friendly environment, man. Where you can go in there, hang out, and just enjoy those guys, man. But speaking, personally, those guys have meant so much for me because I mean, you guys know I've dealt with numerous of injuries. But like you said, like they always found ways to keep me positive, keep my mindset, on the right path. And even when I felt terrible and felt like I wanted to give up, man, they vouched for me. They helped me out. They understood what I was coming from. They listened to me. I've only been here, but I know it's not like that other places. I know that for sure. So those guys do a great job, man. Like so much credit to them, and they deserve that A+ that they got for sure.
No question. Oh my gosh, Kyle.
Yeah.
Man, great people.
I have a question I generally try to ask all my Colts interviews, and it's kind of a fun, kind of laid back question. What is your favorite go-to comfort food?
My comfort food is wings, man. Y'all know in Indy we got R&R wings. That's my spot. That's my
Really?
spot.
Wow. What about Stewart? I mean, what would you have you had any of his wings?
No, I know he got the Coca-Cola sauce, and I mess with him all the time. And I'm like, bro, like you gotta give me some wings. Like you giving wings to everybody else, but you ain't gave me no wings yet. So I give him problems all the time.
Did you ever check out Country Kitchen?
No, I haven't even heard of that.
Soul food spot, Country Kitchen. Ask Reggie. Hit Reggie up
Okay.
and see if he can get you in contact with Country Kitchen.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to check him out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So before we end this episode right here, I do have a question about where you feel you are as a wide receiver. What are some things that you feel like you could still improve to really bring your game to the next level?
Yeah. Well, as far as just me as a player, I think I'm very versatile. And versatile speaking, and I can just do a numerous amount of things, whether it's in the slot, coming in motion, jet sweeps, just I can do a lot of different things. Where I want to see my versatility expand is not just in the slot, but I want to become, another reliable option outside as well. When we go 2 receiver sets, 2 tight ends. And I played there a bit, this past season, but I want to see myself develop even more in that role. And I feel like route running in the slot and route running outside are 2 totally different things, in my opinion. You know what I mean? In the slot, you got just so much grass, and you're usually lined up on a nickel or a safety. And I just feel like it's different because you always got kind of a 2-way go in the slot. You know what I mean? And I feel like outside, like it's some routes outside, whether it's a hitch or a stop route or, a bench route where it's like, all right, you got to go out here and you got to go win. Like, we need you on this play to go win. And so for that, like, I want to be that guy in some of them situations where, all right, let's move Parris out here on this island 1-on-1. And we know he's going to win on this play. Like, it's 3rd and 6. Let's go run a stop route and Parris going to win. Or it's 3rd and 14. Let's go run this bench route and Parris can go win. Like, I want to develop my route running on the outside to where it's like, whoever's calling the plays, like, let's get number 1 out here and let's go move these chains. That's what I want to develop.
Like, and you get to stay on the field a lot longer too.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of staying on the field and do route running and different positions out there, whether you're the Y, the Z, the X, who is the defensive back on the Colts that gives you the most trouble?
Gilly. I say that with no hesitation, man. When Gilly came in this year, obviously going into camp, you're watching film on your own guys because, we're about to compete with them for 3+ weeks, you know what I mean? And that's our competition for that time. So, going in and yeah, I've always been a fan of Gilly, from the time he got drafted. But going against him and watching film on him, 2 totally different things, man. Like, this dude, like he plays the game. Like, he's just seen so much. And, I pick his brain each and every day, man. Still, I talk to him today. But like him being on the field, like, he's just so smart. And it's not even necessarily like he could be on the field and, we can be in a duo set, wide receiver on the outside, slot and the inside. And like, he knows exactly what route you're running based off number 2. He's not even looking at you. This dude's got eyes in the backfield, watching the quarterback, watching the release of number 2, and he's able to jump your route on the outside. Like, he's just seen so much, man, and he's so smart. He can feel when you're trying to be deceptive in your routes. Like, I try to get him, I try to, burst off the line, and like, he's not moving. I'm like, why aren't you moving? Like, I just get so frustrated. But he's just so smart, and I learned a lot from him, and he's able to see some stuff in my game that I was able to work on and get better throughout the course of the season. So, credit to Gilly for sure.
Hey, you mentioned Gilly and like you said, just the mental aspect, because it becomes at one point you just realize, all right, this other guy's just as quick, just as fast, can move. So now how can I beat him? And I'm gonna have to go the mental route to try to do something to get him off. Name another cornerback outside the Colts that you faced in your career that kind of, gave you those similar problems that Gilly has, to where it was just a mental game going against this guy rather than a physical.
Yeah, so not even cornerback, but actually a safety, man. Derwin James. Like when we played the Chargers this year, man, like he would come down in the slot and he would guard me. They would go cover one and he had me man. And speaking of on a play specifically, I remember I had a corner out in the slot, and so I dove down like I'm about to run a crossing route and put my foot in the ground. And he actually stumbled. Like I had him. I'm like, as soon as I seen him stumble, I'm like I had him beat. And I turn around and see the ball in there, and I just see Derwin James flash from my eyes, and I'm like, bro, like I thought I had you beat. You know what I'm saying? So like obviously we all know Derwin James is an incredible athlete, man. But he was doing such a good job of disguising, their coverages. Like it was sometimes I thought he was playing man coverage, and he would just shoot to the third of the field, and they'd be playing zone or have man droppers underneath, and he's back playing zone. Like it was crazy. Just his range and his ability. But he was definitely playing those mind games where he was disguising stuff, and I was like, all right, let me look. I gotta check everybody else out and see what they really in. Nah, I mean, he hell of a player, man. Hell of a player to Derwin James. He was.
I'm going to give you a moment to talk about whatever it is that's on your mind that maybe you want to talk to fans or anything of that nature. Maybe say hi to mom. I don't know. Give you a moment. Talk about whatever it is that you would like to let people know.
Yeah, man. First off, like I said earlier, man, I really want to send a thank you to Colts Nation, for all the support, man. And these 4 years have been a crazy ride. I know. Everybody kind of expected me to come into this league and just, take off from day one. My career hasn't been that way. It's had its highs, it's had its lows, but really like talking to the real fans, man, that's still behind me, man. I seen all the love and support. Nothing went by my face. I seen it all. And that's what kept me going. That's what kept me motivated. And definitely like shout out to you guys, man, because you guys were a big part of, what happened last year. And I never gave up on myself, man. Y'all really supported me and stuck with it through me. And even now, as I'm, approaching free agency, I see the real fans out there, man. They're all like, man, let's get Parris back. Let's get Parris back. And I love it. But and if I am back, you guys are going to get 110% each and every day, man. And, we're going to keep this thing rolling.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of Believe in Colts with myself, Gerard Powers, and special guest Parris Campbell, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?